Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us from Herc soaps. This one here is called MailCall, and there's the scent description right there. And that's it says blueberry, currant, and rosemary. And you might be able to tell there, it is does have a color to it. And this today's shaves, it might be considered a very medley, because I'm going to be following it up with a Reggae Rumberry. And yeah, this is going to have a lot of berry scent to it. I've got the Allen block here with no rubber band, and I'm still got the Humphrey's witch hazel. It's got menthol and peppermint in it, and it's going to take a while for it to go away. Yeah, I'm going to be using it for a good long while. I've got it whipped up over here with a brush from Green Country Razors, and it's got a badger knot in it. This is about as close, I guess you might say, as the big fluffy that I would whip up, and we're going to see how it works for me on a shave with the Weck SexToBlade shaver. Hair shaper is what it is. And I've got soap everywhere. This is the one I have. Let's see here. It says, I think if I remember, yeah, this right here on my side, it says the patent is July 27th at 1909, and you can kind of see there. It's not in the best shape. I've got a little bit of rust right here I could probably take care of at some point in time. But at any rate, there, you might be able to see where it says SexToBlade if the glare doesn't hide what it says there. As goes for a difference in length. See if I can get these turned the right way here. Give you some idea. There's a double duck, and then there's the Weck. So, like I said, this one here is somewhat bigger, has a lot more weight to it. This one here is a fairly lightweight shaver compared to the Weck. Just depends on what you like. This one here, like I say, with the weight behind it, seems to, for me, it offers a little bit more assistance in the shave, giving a little bit more, allowing the weight of the shaver and the sharpness of the blade do the work. And with a lighter weight one, it takes more skill. More technique. At least that's my opinion on it. Alright, we're going to see how the big fluffy works, because this is pretty fluffy. Smells great with the blueberries, and I'm pretty sure that Yulay's aftershave is going to play well with this. I'll have a links down below for Yulay and Herc soaps. I don't think that the MailCall is made anymore. At least it's not listed on their website. I'm assuming that they're not making it anymore, because I would think, in other words, they would have it listed but say sold out, unless they're going to plan on using it as a seasonal thing, and I don't think it is. Could be wrong. Yeah, this is pretty fluffy. I did whip it up on purpose this way, because typically I do have a wet lather that's yogurt-like, and the majority of my shaves are that way. You don't see very many with a, I guess you might say, what might be a fluffy lather. It's not one of my favorites, in other words. I like the wet ones. This one still it's still got a little bit more moisture than what some of the fluffies would, I would think. It's not a thick one by any means. I would say with this one here, with this weight, it does feel good in the hands. The To me, the weight seems to add more confidence in what I'm doing. It may not show up in the shave, but I know, I know in my mind, it sure does feel a lot better to have something with some weight behind it. Much more challenging to use a light one though. So if you're up to the challenge, yeah, get a light one. Now these are vintage, the Double Duck and this Weck, they're vintage hair shapers. Most likely, if you go to a beauty shop, in other words, where they sell supplies, they'll have one with a metal scale, and most likely, I've got one. It'll have a little button, I guess you might call it, a little lever to push the blade out. Depending on where you're at, probably pick one up for about 10 bucks. In other words, if you wanted to try one, but not necessarily want to lay out very much money for a vintage one. A vintage one may cost you a wee bit. In other words, $10, give it a try. These blades will be usually sold right there next to them. This is a really nice scent. I like the berries. The berries is kind of makes it a fun shave. This will be my first day back for the work week this week, and since Monday was a holiday, then I took Tuesday off. I'm sure there's a lot waiting for me. So I'm going in with I guess you might say, I know I'm going to be overwhelmed with stuff and with a fun attitude, because it makes it easier to get through the day. My nose is itching already this morning. Pass number 2. Boy, this smells wonderful. It's a shame that it's not available anymore. Sure, I'm glad I got it when I did then. There are so many artisans out there, it's hard to keep up with all of them. I did find this one here by the way of Instagram, and sometimes I find that it's easier for me to find new artisans on Instagram than it is on Facebook or just through any other travels. It is hard to get the word out. I could imagine trying to start a new soap line and trying to figure out what's going to be the best way to get the word out that you're selling stuff. I find these are fun to use. It'll give you probably the experience close to a straight razor because of the length of the blade. You might be kind of new to the channel, may not have heard this before, but I'm not a real tall person. I only stand about 5'6", so not real big. So there's not a whole lot of area to cover right there. So this blade covers quite a bit of my face. So I do have a tendency to lean towards the ones with the shorter blades. So it's a real challenge with a straight razor, something that's covering that much of my face, to maneuver it around. A shorter one would be great. And like I said, this will probably give you something close, at least some idea what it's going to be like to shave with a straight razor with a blade of that length. I hear tell, and I don't know. I think my experience may be a bit different than most folks. That a straight razor is more forgiving than a shave vet. I I don't know. Maybe I need to get some more experience with a straight razor, but may have a lot to do with the fact that that's where I started, was with the shavette. And the more that I use a straight razor, the more comfortable I'll get with it. I know this, it works well. I enjoy having that little bit extra weight right there. But as it goes between a shaver that's a folder versus a camisori style, camisori for me is really easy to use. The handle doesn't get in the way. It's easy to maneuver around the face. That'll be, how can you say, probably one of the next things I would pursue after I get started in a straight razor shave, is to pursue a camisori, because honing one, depending on which kind you get on the hone, the way I understand it, camisori might be honed in the way what I think is referred to as eastern grind. So in other words, you may have one side that's at a slant, the other side is flat, and honing one of those, heck, it might be easier, I don't know. But it's not what I guess is referred to as a western grind, where you got both sides beveled. And that would be might be a challenge for somebody like me figure out how to get a hone on that. So far so good. Just a little bit of stinging over here, just a little stinging I can live with. Well, so far I didn't see any weepers or anything like that. It's a close shave. My witch hazel here. Like I say, I've got some menthol in here, but there's more peppermint than menthol. Right between here is trying to get dry on me. Trying to make sure I get some witch hazel down in there. It does help with the dryness, at least for me it does. I do have an idea that on one of these days, which is going to be a while before that one there is done. It's almost as like the alum block. It's going to take a good long while for it to get done. But I have a container of, I guess you might call it generic witch hazel, that I plan on kind of doing something similar that I did to the Humphreys. Add some peppermint to it or something like that, and maybe some aloe, just to see, just to tinker with it, see how it works out for me. And if you had never tried Van Yulay's aftershave, it's not alcohol based, it's witch hazel based, and it's a pretty inexpensive in comparison to, I guess you might say, the grand scheme of things. In the way of aftershaves, that run you about $10, and darn near get almost any scent you want. She's got a bazillion different kinds of scents, and you will have to shake hers up before you use it. I know some people, if they have to shake it, they kind of off-putting to them. For me, it's not a big deal. I don't mind shaking it up. In case you might say, it's one of those things where you accept it the way that it is. This plays well. The blueberry and this aftershave does work well together. I guess you might say it's like a complement to each other, because it's not an exact match by any means, but they do play well together. Yeah, this is a good choice. I was going to go drastic and do something like Clubman with it. Something that definitely didn't even come close. Had a great shape. That's pretty darn close. getting used to doing that sweeping motion. It helps catch that strip down through there, keeps it down to a minimum acceptable to me. And I think it might be Friday before I have my next video. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope this kind of helps for some folks what to do. There's different kind of shavers out there that can be used. I'll keep on doing as many videos as I can of different shavers. More on the shavers and maybe perhaps less on information on the soaps. Just a little bit in there, but like I said, I've got this whipped up in a my wooden bowl here is what I mean. I whipped it up big and fluffy. For me, this is big and fluffy. This is, if you're wondering whether this soap lathers up all right, this was with a badger knot, and I've got plenty. Look at all that. That's a lot. If you're wondering, for those that like the big fluffy, it whipped up really nice. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.